Aina ofa ki te kingitanga me te kuini nā wai hono i te pō. Kei te mihi ki te whānui o Maneo Poto, e Pauama, e Tauama, nā kaimahi, nā kaitiaki o te tau, tēnā koutou, tēnā kui paua. Oh, I can read that. So this kaupapa is on protecting Taoka species using electric fish barriers. And in the picture there is the fish barrier when it's being built. And in my younger days, when I was a hand model, the kōwaro, the Canterbury mudfish. Starting off with a quick video, it's at the time it was being built. It's got a whole lot of people who are instrumental in it. It shows you the scale, the environment, and a lot of kōrero, including from mana whenua. I do note that some of the people in this video have now moved on to other roles, so please note that.
For Ngaitahu, a highly modified landscape means loss of habitat, loss of species that are significant to our traditional life cycle, that is mahinga kai.
We really have only a few remaining populations, and these are the kinds of species that, you know, make our regions totally unique. You know, Canterbury mudfish or kōwaro are found nowhere else in the world. They're what makes Canterbury Canterbury.
The barrier itself is not a concrete structure. The barrier itself pretty much just uses railway irons anchored into the ground in a gravelly part of the low of the stream, and that creates an electric field in between. What that means is very little intrusion in of any kind, but it stops predator fish from coming upstream. What that means is the electric field itself is so inconvenient to the fish but doesn't harm it, that it literally just knocks on the door and then realises, oh, I don't actually want to go into that door.
We worked with the American company, they supplied the fish barrier, but we've been involved with modifying the design because the New Zealand conditions are quite a bit different from America. As far as we understand, although there's been some other smaller fish barriers in the country, this is unique in the scale of the operation and the design of it, and also the fact that this is the first one as a standalone project where it hasn't been run off mains where they've relied or we've relied on solar energy to provide the sole source of energy for the system.
You know, there's trust amongst the partners, and so it was a really easy decision to come on board when we see a solution like this, which is really practical and really tangible. Like, farmers can really relate to this. It's an action we can take right now to help the environment. It's not just talking and planning.
To see this today to come to fruition on an active working farm here in Canterbury, with all the parties that have been involved, is super exciting. It sets a precedence that actually this isn't scary. It's an opportunity to capture all values on property that bodes well for the future of all New Zealanders.
It's always been really enjoyable coming here each year to visit and check the population. And I think this is a real credit to the landowners. They're nearly as keen on mudfish as I am. So we'll do annual monitoring here at a range of sites, so we're intending to monitor the populations above the barrier where we've got quite a good data set over the years, but we've also set up a site below the barrier, so that's going to be a really interesting comparison to see how the mudfish are at sites where trout still are.
We've now got a unique opportunity to look at how the population develops. First of all, it's protected, and secondly, we can look at how quickly it increases, which gives us almost like a nursery for other areas where we can reintroduce them.
It's one intervention in one place that's actually going to create 8,000 square metres of protected habitat, and that's the kind of exciting thing.
So where is it? I thought we'd have a laser pointer, but I'm probably too old for this. In the centre to the left is a red dot. It's just below the Waikirikiri, the Selwyn River. To the east, the right, is Ototahi, and obviously Te Kiti, Iko or Rakaihotu down below it at Lake Ellesmere, and I'm not here to talk about that today. But afterwards, if you want questions, we can catch up. It takes an hour from work to get out there for any activity if you have an alarm, and an hour back. So the key points regarding the site, you would have seen all the pictures, the land, the scale. It's in a gravel area between banks, but the key thing is it's spring fed, so the water level's usually reasonably consistent, and it's a safe place. The one thing that wasn't mentioned is droughts, and in 2015-16 the river dried up, and it did again last year. So why? Well, kōwaro are listed as a taonga species in the Ngāi Tahu Claims Settlement Act 1998. It's threatened, nationally critical. Significant habitat loss. We have the water stoats. In fact, if, like Carl said, salmon are water stoats, they must be water weasels. And the opportunity with the staff, the resources, the site, and the motivation. And in the presentation, the video, Johannes was the driver behind it to get it through. Whilst it was installed in 2019, we couldn't turn it on till 2022 because someone went to WorkSafe, because electricity and water, and it took that long to get it. The key thing that got it through WorkSafe was that it's on a private farm, restricted access, and there are rules around accessing the area, and it's fenced off. So there's the inside of it and the rear of it. It's got 80 photovoltaic panels, inverters, chargers, the smart connector, a computer which then talk to the pulsators which send the current to the electrodes or the railway tracks, and a computer to send us messages. So some technical stuff for those who care. The batteries last 4 days without charging, and one of the reasons we went solar was some of those rural areas up in the hills where there is no power, and it's a cheaper option. It's 20 kilowatts of power. Now that's enough to power a house that's 185 square metres. It sends out 4 pulses every second, and they're each 25 milliseconds long. It varies with the water conditions and where, and the 2 pulsators have different rates at 170 and 230 watts. And it's supposed to send emails daily and alarms. And we've got our technicians for this internet system in Auckland and the people for the machine itself in America, and I have to run out and coordinate those two. And if you've seen me trying to hook up the internet, it's a challenge. But most of the time it's working. We believe it's working. So there's the barrier. The water runs in the direction of the arrow, and as trout swim up the river, they hit the green zone, and it gives them the smaller shock. It goes, zzz, do you want to come up here? And the trout will go, yes, and head on. And then it goes, zzz, interferes with the trout's nervous system. They either knocked out, float downstream, or just turn around and go downstream. They don't go past. It doesn't kill them. The key thing here is it's got the current to push them away from the area you're trying to protect. If you put this up at the mouth of a bay to protect the awa inside it, it would knock them out, but any wind blowing into the bay could push them past the barrier. So we had a residual trout population up there. In pre-23, in the first year, DOC, Fish and Game and ECAN were active but not coordinated. It wasn't working. So we did some eDNA testing, and we were using the sampler model that you put in the awa for 24 hours to identify areas where trout were, where mudfish were, and target our work. And we got together for a week. The high water levels precluded us going in there. And we only removed 35 trout that year. But we came up with a plan that Fish and Game would go out during the spawning season, interrupt the reds. We would go out and fish alternative periods, and Fish and Game, DOC would carry on with their monitoring and number catching. Last year we had another working bee. We changed the methodology because electric fishing towards push nets wasn't working. And to be honest, we weren't trying to catch everything in the awa, we were targeting trout. So we changed the settings on the electric fishing machines, fished the surface because most of our taonga species are bethnic, and we started to have a bit more success. And on the last day, we had a 40-50 trout caught, but 88 that week, and 20 tuna were relocated. After this week, we made the decision not to relocate any tuna because that was interfering with that whakapapa Māori for that awa. 600 plus hours up that river with 20 people and 4 electric fishing kits that week. And we got 88 trout. 40 were in the 0+ range, this size. So it indicated that there was spawning up there. For the next 2 months, we were up there 2 to 3 times a week, and another 288 trout were relocated. The water levels were dropping consistently. On a Friday, one pool was waist deep on me. The following Tuesday, it was empty. And we did have some dead tuna. In the centre photo at the bottom, there is one there, and my pōtiki was with me. She spotted it. It looks different, Dad. We went and got it, put it in the chili bin with a couple of others like that, went back to the farm, bit of water, they came to life, and we put them back in the yard. It was a cool moment when you're doing that with your kids, eh? The better fisher people there, it's shown by the footprints with the pūkeko and the grey heron when the waters had pooled, and they did a good job for us as well. And it was another 600 hours. And I emphasise the time because if this is of interest to you to protect your taonga species, there's a lot of work that goes on afterwards. It's not just put it in, turn it on. And that. So, hold on, I've got to do it properly. So I can prove the barrier works. No trout get through. So this is the result after the drought, but what I'm showing it is you can see the scouring underneath. So we're still working and modifying this process where we're putting a rock weir downstream of it to slow the water through that area to minimise that issue. This year we put 12 DNA kits in, locations shown. One true left, centre and true right. The key points from them all were no trout were identified, and it was like, woohoo. All of the kits detected kōwaro. Now, the top one didn't detect kōwaro historically, so that's a plus for us. And that. Tuna were detected, both long and short fin. We haven't seen any there, and we haven't put nets out yet for it, but that could be due to residual tuna from the drought and the residue from them from that. We had Canterbury galaxids, both seen and identified, but no bullies were detected at all. We've caught them historically, and they've been identified by DNA historically. So that comes to the stream health. Prior to the barrier being installed, no one did a whole of stream whakapapa check of the awa and that, and we're going through those things now. And I've said we did the eDNA before, we did it this year. Those pictures to the right are the 190 species identified this year. And the best one is, there's still mudfish there and there's no trout there. And that's a win-win for me at the moment. We are going through future testing, working with Runanga for their maturanga as well, to support that, to get a whole of stream and to see if the barrier is impacting that whakapapa of that awa. Relationships are key. With Te Taumutu Runanga, or Kaikōrero Hiki, it's their taonga we're helping protect. It's their mātauranga, and we do these things with their blessing. You don't see them often in the kōrero because their capacity and capability and the timings. Fish and game, I thought I would say I enjoyed working with them. But the relationship we had was significant, and the trout you see there, they could authorise me to euthanise it, check for kōwaro in its puku, to see if it's got mature sexual organs, and for that. This relationship with them led to me putting a proposal on their behalf to Ngāi Tahu and to Kaikōrero Hiki to remove trout from Mirawai Whata, a coastal hapua which was spring fed. And it's been agreed to, and Fish and Game are going to follow through on that. The landowner, John Grigg, he's doing his own stuff there, and he's got another kōwaro site on his property, but he's given me unlimited access to his farm, and it's just brilliant, his support for this. And of course, we dock their mātauranga, their generational knowledge as such, because they're doing a lot of that work up there as well. And it opens more doorways, these relationships, which is significant as we move forward with other projects. We can't do them all in isolation. We have to do them as a joint project. I don't like the word collaboration because that means you're following someone else's direction to a degree. And if you remember, after World War II, collaborators were shot. Just saying. So the considerations, if this is something for you, the resources to install and maintain it, the access to the site, can you meet health and safety requirements? If it's a public area, you're probably not going to get a win on that. The maintenance of it. When you're doing the banks, it's not just a matter of going in there. You've got to set up stop nets. You've got to turn it off, clean it, clear the area, turn it on, move the stop net, etc., etc. The stream health, make sure you do a very good audit of it before you follow through with the task. And then as you keep doing that. And contingency plans for power failures. We're lucky, the farmer will run a Jenny down there. By the time I get there from home to work, to find a stop net, to get back out there, a couple of hours could have passed and all that work could have been for nothing. And aligning dates to intrude upon to align with habitat cycles and to destroy the cycles of those predator species. So it creates a whole lot of opportunities to protect Taoka species. It's innovative, it targets pest fish, and improved in new relationships. And there are options. And hearing some of the other kōrero today about the floodgates and tōna and issues and dams and everything else, it can be put across in front of the dams to stop them going through turbines. Well, this shows it's going through a sluice to the side. It could be to an area where they're being caught, captured. It could be to prevent them, like in our awa, in a river, just a different view of one instead of railway track. It's floating ones to cater for waterways where the levels change consistently. To stop them going through intakes as well. And there's a pretty commercial one in America. And literature. There is a lot of literature around if you wish to investigate it. If you have questions for me beyond today, I have a card here. If you're interested in doing it, please feel free to ring me. I will be as honest as anything with you so that you've got the good, the bad and the fugly with this, because it's a big investment, both in time and resources. Ka oti. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.